Hi, folks, and welcome back to Old School Optimus Prime. We're just making up names at this point. I'm Matt. Joining me is Norm from the Board Game Museum, Bernardo from Tabletop Island, and Luke from Down from the Attic. Hi, guys.
Hello.
They all have more creative channels than I do, so check them out and subscribe to them. Norm's the biggest one out of the whole of us. Norm's the giant in the YouTube world.
I tell you what, you guys have got some amazing channels, and I will do anything I can to help you guys get some exposure. I love y'all's channel.
Thank you.
All right, good deal. Well, our topic today is about the top 5 vintage games we would like to see a reprint of. Norm, go first. Now, by the way, I don't have these in any order, I don't think. Like, my most desired to number 5. Did y'all put y'all's in order?
I didn't.
Not
I
really.
didn't. I just picked 5.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and start now.
Go ahead,
Matt
Norm.
talked about this before, so we may actually have some overlap here. I would love it,
will.
and I'll just go ahead and put the webcam on the game here and see if you can see it. I would love it if they could re-release Roller Coaster Tycoon, the game. I would love it if, like, say, Six Flags or Disney World or something like that could create a game that is similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. And if you think of something like Six Flags and all the rides that they have with all the different parks, and you could probably change some aspects of the game like they did with Fireball Island, Curse of Volcar. But I would love that. I mean, if they could make a thematic game based on a real theme park, I think that would be great. And there's endless possibilities, I think, if you wanted to do expansions or something like that. That would be a game I would love to see re-released because I like theme parks a lot.
I think it would sell like hotcakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I think I talked about that one. Oh, did we talk about that on camera or off camera?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
I don't know about you guys.
All right. So that's a good one. Let's see. Bernardo, what is your pick?
Yeah, I tried to keep the theme of showing the games here, but my all-time one will still be Tornado Rex. Oh, man, I absolutely I love this game. So the game, just to kind of give a rundown, you have this 3D mountain. You push down you draw cards and move like Candyland, and there's a Tornado Rex card that allows you to push down the button on the mountain, and there's a top that spins around, and if he knocks your piece down, you go back to start. And it's just this really cool action surprising board game. And man, would I love this to be reprinted. I've actually kind of worked on a more strategic version of the game on myself and kind of a draw up of a new 3D island. Who knows, I may actually go forward with it, but we'll see.
Oh, wow. I almost put that one on my list, but I knew someone was going to put it on their list. I agree, though. I think it's a great game. It deserves a reprint.
That would be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a game we each have a copy of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a great game. All right, Luke, what is your first pick for a reprint?
Well, mine was also Tornado Rex. And the reason what got me thinking about this was I watched one of Bernardo's reviews recently on another spinning top game. I cannot remember the name of it, but it had little paddles that you could ping the motorized spinning top around. And I thought, wouldn't that make a great mechanic for Tornado Rex? Like, you have the option, maybe you play a card or something like that where you can divert onto your opponent. So there's maybe multiple tracks up to the top of the mountain, but you're able to divert those, change the tracks and sort of favor the odds, funnel it down onto your opponents, but avoid your own. I think this game's worthy of a reprint and worthy of a redesign as well. There's a great mechanic at the heart of it, but yeah, I think there's a lot of places you could go with that sort of gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. And the game is Tornado Bowl.
What was the name of that game?
Tornado
okay.
Bolt.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the spinning top idea is just really unique and really awesome, and there's ways to improve on that. And I like how we're all thinking about just ways to improve the game as well. Mine, I didn't bring the board game with me now, but I do have it. Thunder Road.
Oh yeah.
This is how I first found Norm's channel. Actually, the first video I think I ever watched of his was Thunder Road. And then later on, when I kept looking up other vintage games, I saw that I was looking at the same guy. And I was like, wait a minute, this guy has all the games I'm interested in. Subscribe. But Thunder Road, I was so impressed with, and got a copy. Love it. People idolize this game, man. I mean, I've seen a guy make up his own from micro machines or from the little Hot Wheels. He's made up these big ones. He's designed it himself. The trucks, the vehicles. He's made little oil spill things. He's made extra rules. There are extra rules available for this game. I mean, this game is already ready to reprint. The fans have already made awesome rules for this. And I got to play his upgraded Thunder Road expansion. I think this is at the time I just bought my copy, and I was like, oh my gosh, his copy looked great. He went, well, I can show you how to make all this. I went, I'm not that creative, and I'm not that talented to paint and make. He had like toothpicks as spikes coming out of the diesel truck and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. He said, I'll give you the Hot Wheels list of which one to get. And I was like, that's okay, man. I don't have the time, but it looked amazing. His game did. There's a big love for this game. And that's one I wish would get a reprint because it's so awesome. And of course, Fury Road came out just a few years ago, massively popular. But oh man, just absolutely just fun race battle game where you're trying to avoid not getting eliminated by being off the track or just getting blown up. Awesome game. Every time I play it, smile on my face.
There was a Mad Max game that came out last year. Same sort of thing, but not like with the rolling road thing where you're constantly moving. Called Wreck and Ruin. And you've got your own little gangs with the oil tankers, and you've got to protect them, and you can explode them and attack other vehicles. It's pretty cool. I played that last year at Games Expo.
Does it have the cars and stuff with it? Like
little plastic miniature cars, and when you get attacked, you've got like these little flame pegs. So like the cars have little holes to put these flame pegs in to show how much damage they've took.
Like Battleship.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool. That's a cool idea. I've never heard that one.
I still got to get the completed pieces for my Thunder Road. I'm missing a few, but it technically wouldn't stop me from playing it. But it's on my list of games to play for sure, and I got excited because of your guys' reviews. So,
telling you. All right. So, and I also Norm actually put a house rule on that, on having it because it's so hard to repair one of your vehicles. I think you lowered the dice count by 1 pip, right?
Yeah, I think I said you can roll doubles instead of triples. I think, but yeah, I just kind of something die roll or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I think you have to roll all sixes, right?
I believe so. It depends on the car. Like one car's a 4, one's a 5, one's a 6, but you have to roll that particular number, in triples.
And I think you lowered it. I think you lowered it by a few because it's hard to roll triples. Period.
Yeah,
but if you roll a triple,
I
think if you rolled a triple, that'd be a good option to flip your car over.
Yeah, I think I did something like that. It made it work better. Just get triples.
Yeah, but it's an awesome game. All right, Norm, what is your next one?
All right, I'm going to give you guys a game that you probably have not heard of. This game was made by not a major publisher. I think it was made by a professor or something in the 70s, but I will show it to you here. Hopefully you can see it. This is a game called Extinction Game of Ecology. Now, what this game basically is about, there's 80 dice in this game, and everybody's going to receive, I think, 20 die. And each pip represents, I guess, a creature of some kind. You got all these different cards. You've got like a card that tells you what type of creature you are, like a predator, a speedy creature, or something like that. And they each have different kind of abilities. One thing you can do is that you're next to like one of the creatures, and your creature has an ability. You can actually eat all the creatures on the next tile. The tiles are actually habitats, and again, depending on the creature you have, you can reproduce more, you may reproduce less. You can change up different things on your cards if you want. If you don't like the creature you have, you can try to swap it out with another one. But you've got things like natural disasters that can happen. That can end up wiping out a whole ton of your population. You've got different tiles that represent like man-made escapes, like a city or a jet. You can play one of those, and that can affect things too. It is a great strategy game. Now, the game itself looks really plain as it is, but when I picked it up, and I found it at a thrift store, when I picked it up, I was like, wow, this game is really, really good. And I would love to see a reprint of this game. I don't know how many people have ever heard of it. That's the basis of it. But basically, you're just trying to survive. And you can have like an entire board full of creatures, but then this storm can come up, and if your creature isn't protected from it, it can wipe out like half your population. You just never know. So this is a game I would like to see reprinted.
I've heard of it because I've seen your channel, and I know that you were super impressed with that game when you found it. In fact, I thought yesterday you were going to put that down as your biggest surprise for a board game. That
was a big surprise for sure. That was just a game.
We didn't get a good look at the game, what the game looked like, but it looks like plain Jane, boring. It looks like, oh my goodness, who would play this game? And that you were just so amazed by the strategy involved by it. And it was very impressive.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
Yeah, I've not heard of that. That looks it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an extension game of ecology. Yeah, it's not a cheap game. I don't think it's very common. But yeah, if you like strategy games, I mean, this one's a great one. I've never seen a game like this since, but it's funny being able to eat your competition. I love that.
All right, Bernardo, what is your next pick?
All right, this one, I'm sure there may be some overlap here, but Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs. Oh man, this is such a beautiful game. So you have this 3D kind of island with a volcano that's 3D. You have these really nice miniature dinosaurs and these really nice people. It's pterodactyls that can kind of come down and pick up one of your people and move them. It's everything is going for it extremely well. I think of maybe a few minor updates and tweaks to the rules itself, but the game itself is extremely solid as is. It's a Waddington game. Oh man, it's definitely high on my list. The board just looks amazing, and it offers so much for you to collect the coins and bring them back. There's so many different dangers, and it's a riot. I definitely would love a reprint of this game.
Yeah, that's a big one we all recently kind of discovered. I think Luke, did you get it first, or Bernardo, did you get it first?
He might have got it first. I might have reviewed it first. I'm not sure.
You reviewed it before me, but I've had it for a while. It's a great game.
Yeah, both of you got it about the same time, and y'all were telling me y'all were singing its praises, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to pull the trigger on it. And you're right. It's just amazing. It's an amazing game. Now, Luke, what is your next one? Because I think I know what it is.
Bernardo, I promise you, I'm not copying. Yeah. This game is fantastic. It really is. It makes me wonder, like, what a company like Restoration Games could do with this. Like, you already have a partially 3D board as it is. So, like, you can see in the box there's a 3D volcano, and you place little tokens that spread volcano across the board. And that's fascinating. But on the board itself, the actual cardboard board, there are river spaces. And I'm wondering whether you could make them into more of a hazard, make them more dynamic, and have them moving. Obviously, there's the idea of adding new dinosaurs, new dinosaur types to this. At the moment, you've got the Petrodon, which swoops, like Bernardo says, and can move a character from danger. You've got the swamp monster, and then you've got the T-Rexes. But what about if you like something that blinds your player, like the Dilithisaur from Jurassic Park? It spits venom, and for a turn you don't get to move your player, your opponents get to move that player. It's just little things like that. I thought those would be really cool and interesting ways to see how you could change this game. And yeah, there's a lot there which is brilliant already, but I think you could do a lot more with this as well.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah, I remember. Oh yeah, it's a wonderful game. Now I've noticed there are two like little. Have y'all seen this? The little ammo depots on the board too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get ammo from those depots. It's in the rules, actually.
Okay, I couldn't find it in the rules, but that's
It took me
that's how we
forever
played
too,
it.
but I swore up and down it wasn't there for a reason when I
Yeah,
saw
so-
the layout of the map, and then I found it in the rules. It's hiding, I'll tell you that.
I still
get
can't.
a
I'll look
gun
again.
card, when you draw a gun card, you don't automatically get the bullets for it. You've got to go to the ammo depot to get 3 bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I
It's-
missed that.
Yeah, it took me forever to find it.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. The artwork's great on it. What was one that I was laughing at with it? With Warrington, all those things look like toys. Oh, the back of the board is a map, kind of the island, right? The back of the board. It's the artwork beautiful on this. Again, a lot of care, a lot of thought went into making those games, which is just amazing to me. Okay, so my next pick is one. Let me see, which one do I want to talk about next? Okay, well, I'll just talk about this one, Ice Cube. Talked a little bit about it. I got the game. I'll probably be the only one out of us that have the game because the game's too stinking expensive. But it is a great game, and it's a no-brainer for like a Hasbro or Milton Bradley to pick up because they're all about these silly, get wet head, watermelon bash easy things that you can play with and make on your own. Man, this is a cheap game to put together. Just put the 3D board, put the little slides, the little salt, the little water. You could even add a few things too. I would make the pool a little bit deeper. I would do something different. I mean, I guess you can't give a metal piece anymore. Big metal washer is what it is. But either way, I would try to find something maybe you could heat up like in a microwave so it could be hot. And that way you could, when you place something, it would really melt them really big. There's a lot of, I'm sure, creative ways they could come up with stuff. Like a little, I thought about those little sponge brushes. And remember those old little Hot Wheels car wash things where you turn the car wash, those little sponges would push the car wash through. Maybe that's how you keep an ice cube in there where the sponges rub up against it. 4 sponges rub up against it and kind of shave it down a little bit. I think that'd be awesome. I think there's a lot of different things you could come up with. It'd be a fun children's game, and I think it would sell just like all their other little, like I said, wet head headbands. The watermelon game I just saw the other day. They have all these little gimmicky games, and I think this would be right up their alley. I can't imagine. I don't know how old this is. Old Milton Bradley, but I can't imagine they still have the rights on it. Because it's such an old game. But Milton Bradley should come back and do it, or Hasbro should come back and do it, because I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be a big seller too. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. Norm, what is your next one?
All right. Well, me and you had talked about this. I'm going to throw in the McDonald's game. That it's a kids game, simple game. Love this game. This is the one where you're trying to collect food items. You can only have a certain amount of food items, and then eventually there's going to be an order that's going to come up, and someone's going to read the order, and then you have to get the item and put a marble in the middle, and hopefully you'll have the order correct. Now, this is a game that's based on quick memory. They're going to read the order, but they're only going to read it once. It'll have a certain amount of items for each one, like 2 hamburgers, 1 shake, or whatever. But then sometimes on the bottom will say, wait, change this to this. So everybody's scrambling, hopefully that they're going to get the right order. Matt had talked about this, and I completely agree with him. McDonald's should seriously consider re-releasing this game, or somebody should. They have, I think, 8 items in the game, but you could definitely expand it easily to discontinued items like the McDLT breakfast items. You could add different types of Happy Meal aspects to the game. There's things you could do to change the game up too. But I love this game. It's a simple game to learn, but at the same time, it's not as easy as you think because you have to remember real quick what's going on, and it's real easy to mess up too. Just a fun game.
Yeah. Didn't you create an expansion for it too?
Yeah, I did. I made what did I do? I made like some Happy Meal cards, and I made a rule that you could turn them in for something, I think. And then I made the breakfast items, some of the discontinued items, and I posted it somewhere. It's available somewhere. I don't remember the link, but I have it up on my Google Drive somewhere.
Yeah, I had an idea for that, and Norm put it to the test and brought it to life and everything. But I thought you could have, because I'll be honest, I'll go ahead and just reveal mine, and then we'll skip me next turn. But sorry, it was McDonald's. I knew you were going to have that game, Norm. So that's why I picked that one too. I mean, I feel like, just like I know when I asked Bernardo what his next one is, Luke's just going to copy him. So I'm going to switch him up this next round. But I knew we'd have this one in common because I thought about the breakfast line. I said that'd be great, a breakfast expansion with an early bird character, because early bird was brought in. She was a character invented for breakfast. Yeah. So you bring in a 5th player, but you can also have another expansion starring a 6th player, and it's just all 3 fry guys, on the board, and you would have stuff like the McRib, the really hot stuff, the seasonal stuff, I guess, the McRib, the what's the green shake,
the Shamrock
Shake and stuff. And those would be rare items. Those are hot items. Anyone would want those items for bonus points. You could add a McRib or a Shamrock Shake in there to get a bonus point. And then of course you have expanded items too, like just other things that they offer. And I love the old McDLT and stuff like that, and Hula Burger and stuff. A Happy Meal you could add to it too. There's a ton of things I think you could add to it that I think would just be awesome. Like Happy Meal is you collect Happy Meal toys, and it's a set collection during the game. If you collect all 6, you're gonna get X amount of bonus points. There's endless possibilities on how you could expand that game. And I agree, McDonald's should totally go for it, because I would go all in on that. In fact, Bernardo, tell your good friends at Restoration Games, sit down, play a copy of McDonald's the board game, and get ready to sell literally hotcakes.
McDonald's style. I couldn't imagine how expensive it would be to get a McDonald's license. But, I've avoided this game for a while, and I see it's on your guys' top list. My big thing is I'm actually one of those people that doesn't eat McDonald's or Burger King. It's actually been 8 years a couple of days ago since I've had McDonald's or Burger King. So me bringing it to the table with my board game group, they would just light a fire under me if I brought it. So I've avoided it for a while.
I rarely eat McDonald's unless the McRib is around. I don't eat it. But I absolutely adore the game.
I did find the expansion. If you guys want it, it's on my YouTube video. If you type McDonald's game in YouTube, it'll be in the description. So if you guys want it, feel free to take it.
I'll get it eventually.
Luke, I know you have a McDonald's over there in the UK, but is it that big of a deal? Okay.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people have been going crazy because of this coronavirus lockdown, but they can't get to McDonald's. And McDonald's over here they've released the recipes for the sausage egg McMuffin and the Big Mac, so people can make them themselves at home. And they've been submitting like the home creations of like the Big Mac. It's ridiculous.
Oh wow! They're bold for that one. That's wild.
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to switch it up here because I know whichever one Luke has next, Bernardo's going to have next too. So, Luke, before Bernardo steals your number 3 pick, what is it?
Okay, we spoke about this one before. It's got to be Dark World. I know you two love this.
Yes.
But this was such a disappointment for me. And there's a good game there. There is, like, with all the theming and everything, it just pains me that there's just not enough gameplay there for me. So, like I mentioned it in my review, like 4 different characters, like the mage, the elf, the warrior, and the archer, or something like that. And then you get 4 different weapons, and no matter which one you pick up, it's exactly the same. And if they had different attributes, so like the archer was fired icicles or something like that, and then you pick up like a fire weapon, you're able to sort of shoot fire, like boiling water at them or something like that. I don't know, it just make it really interesting. And all the set pieces and everything in here only builds one layout, and for all that care that's gone into making them, and they are really fantastic. All the miniatures are amazing and the scenery is amazing, but I'd love to be able to lay this out differently and perform a few different missions. I think there's definite room for improvement there. There's a good game there somewhere, but at the moment, I just don't tick the boxes for me.
Yeah, you're the one that steered me away from it. I didn't pick it up, but it looks cool. It really looks.
It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
Ooh, it's a fun game. I will agree with Luke though. It is roll and move, roll and fight. It looks really pretty, but for a roll and move game, essentially, it looks really pretty. I mean, like even the swords that you bring out and you put in a gold sword just helps you do an extra die. It doesn't mean anything special, but it's really cool that you can remove the action. It's not a card. It could have been a card, but no, they wanted to put an actual sword in their hand or axe, or it doesn't matter what type of item it is either. That's the other thing. All the weapons, I think you said this, Luke, all the weapons don't have different abilities or anything like an extra reach or something.
They're exactly the same, which I think is a little bit of an oversight. It could have been really interesting to see what happens when this character holds that weapon. You know, you get like a special power. That would have been amazing. I mean, Matt, I know you've got the other two. You've got the Dragon's Gate and the Village of Fear. Do they play any better? I've not played those two.
They're going to play just the same. They're same game. I mean, you're doing a little. You're trying to seek two little dwarves in the or elves or whatever in the second one, Village of Fear, and then there's an invisible character which actually will pop up. They made a piece for him because of course they do. It's Dark World. We got to overproduce everything, but he's invisible and he's on this bridge. And it's a game of wit to see where do you think the invisible guy's coming at you. And you're trying to avoid him, and it's a move, and he's moving on a little player shield to see if he can capture you. Now, when he captures you, he becomes visible for the next player, but then he can become invisible again. So that's kind of neat. And then the third one, Dragon's Gate, was like, it's very short. It's supposed to be this is weird, even though it was the third game that came out, it's the first one you start at. And that's because it's basically the shortest one. Has a cool looking dragon. I mean, everything about it looks awesome, just like all these games do, but it's really nothing. It's just a little simple add-on, I guess they decided to make last minute. But the game looks great, and I would love to see a reprint because I agree with you. It could be better. But my nephews, for a children's dungeon crawl, they absolutely had fun with it. We had a blast with it. We put all three together. They were looking at it, just their mind because it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful on the board. But the gameplay is essentially roll and move.
So,
all right. So obviously, Marta, if you pull up a copy of Dark World, I'm just gonna fall out here.
No. I saw his review and I've steered away for a little bit. It's very expensive. If it wasn't as expensive, I would have jumped the gun on it anyway, just because it looks awesome. My next one's left field. I'm not sure if there's going to be any overlap, but Masterpiece. This is a new one to my list, actually, to my collection, I should say. I avoided it for a little bit, but I believe both Matt and Norm had it on their list pretty high, and I was like, all right, I'm going to take a look at this game. I found it for like $15 or so, so I was like, all right, there's no reason not to buy it. I got it to the table a few times, and man, it was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. So the artwork is amazing. I know they mentioned in a previous discussion that it even says like who the artist is, gives a little bit of description of it, which is nice. Maybe they can have more art. I think that's probably what everybody would just want with their existing game, is just more art. There isn't much I would change, maybe a few different things and abilities on the board that change just a little bit. But it is a lot of fun. The only other thing I probably would update too would be maybe the forgery, because I feel like I want more disappointment when someone tries to steal my artwork. I definitely want someone to just get hit, because I watched it happen in the game, one of the games I played, and she just kept adding different numbers to it, and they were like, oh, this has to be worth a lot. And they were so disappointed. It's a really good game, and I think, again, maybe minor changes. If nothing's changed, that's also just fine. I think it's a great game, and people should definitely experience it.
That's awesome. That's an awesome game. I agree. There could be some reprints. I almost thought about putting that one on my list. Norm, I think you said you were about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I actually had that in mind. Actually, I love that game.
I've not played it.
You've never played it? Oh man,
no, I've not played it.
Solid.
Have a copy, man. It's fun.
It is. In version, the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah, they had I think 3 versions or so.
The 90s comes with a little pedestal for the artwork. I like
that's
that.
why I got it.
Cool.
Because I saw that. I compared y'all's reviews and I was like, oh no, I want the pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're both great. They're both great.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So Norm, what is since Norm and I had the same one at McDonald's, I'm skipping me. Norm, what is your next one?
All right. I think this one is a no-brainer. I think Restoration Games is working on this. I'm not sure. I'm going to throw the Omega Virus in there. The original game is fantastic. It's huge. You like put it on the table, people are going to see this game. I mean, it makes a great centerpiece as it is. Components are fantastic. The gameplay is a lot of fun. This is the game that has the computer, and you're trying to find the Omega Virus somewhere in your spaceship, and it'll throw out different things at you, and you have to try to stop it. And sometimes you'll lose a weapon or I think a car or something like that. But the funnest thing of this game is you can actually attack the other players, which this is a co-op game, but you can actually attack the other players and try to steal their stuff and try to, win the game, and take the credit. But of course, if you do that, you risk everybody losing the game because this is a timed game. But this game looks beautiful. I would be curious to see what they could do with this game because the original game is really good as it is. But man, I would just love to see what they could do, what they could add to this game to make it even better. But that would be one of my choices for sure.
I agree. I 100% agree. I know they got the license. I haven't heard anything about it. I know Key to the Kingdom might be this year or early next year. I forget what the date release was on it that they put online. But Omega Virus, we just saw that they had the license. I've never played it. I'm sad, but I may have one in a couple of days. We'll see.
Oh, good.
That's good. All right. So, you know what? No, I'm going back to Luke. I'm going back to Luke just to play it safe. I'm going back to Luke. Luke, what's your next one?
You're going to wish you didn't.
Oh, no.
I picked them. So obviously, like what Norm says, this game is just phenomenal. We talked about it yesterday. It's a really superb game from the very early 90s. Big board, fantastic artwork, amazing components. You've got this electrical talking unit in the middle of the board that you input door codes into, and it'll tell you whether there's a item that you're after in the room, or if there's nothing in there, or if the virus is in there. So you're searching around for 3 weapon parts to make your ultra weapon, and then finding the room with the virus in. And it's fantastic. I would love to see what a restored version of this would be like. So I've already started thinking, like, you could have the virus affect. So you have these little robots as well, and the robots essentially give you a second turn. What if the virus affected those? What if there was like a different mode to this where you had to take out the robots before you took on the virus? Like the robots became rogue and you had to take them down. There's a lot of different things you could do with this. The one thing I would say is, and Restoration have proved it with the Dark Tower, they can do electrical components. I want to see this still have an electrical component. I would hate for this game to be with an app. I'd hate it.
Yeah.
The actual thing in the middle makes this game amazing.
Yeah, I definitely, it's one of the few that I would be a little scared to see an app for. Maybe if they implemented it a little differently, but the game itself still self-contained, I'd probably appreciate that. But I honestly, I don't know. I feel like making technology like that now might be just more expensive now. I don't know, especially if you want to be ambitious. I don't know.
It's
well, that they kept true to Dark Tower. Oh, go ahead.
It's possible they could do it. I mean, it's just a voice box, really. Whereas Dark Tower, you've got all those moving pieces to it.
That's fair.
Yeah, but you've got to keep the synthesized voice to it. That's the seller for me. Just like the really vintage, sort of 1980s sounding robot voice. It's got to keep that.
Wait, I know you mentioned this with Mall Madness. Does your synthesized voice have an English accent?
No.
Okay. Because I would
It doesn't sound like a Dalek.
You can't stop me, mate.
Hey, Jaxie.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Luke. I think they have to keep the peace in there because that's where the magic is. The magic is in that electronic box. Absolutely love that game. It's one of my favorite electronic games in the world. Every time we play it, I have so much fun with it. I think it's such an incredible game. Omega Virus definitely deserves a reprint. So once again, now hold on, Bernardo. What's yours? If we're going for the trifecta and you say Omega Virus, I'm gonna be amazed. Go for it.
I don't own Omega Virus. That wouldn't be fair. So no, I'm not gonna say Omega Virus. But is it my go?
Yeah, it's your go. Yeah.
Okay. So we have
Luke copied Norm this time because he decided that he's going behind Norm.
Poor
From the
Luke.
pit. Okay, so I did a review. This is actually one of my favorite reviews I've done on YouTube. Just the sketch alone, like the smoke, just everything. I absolutely just love the visual aesthetic because I like to think I work pretty hard on it. But outside of that, the game has this amazing 3D component of this swamp monster who can come out and scoop your guy while you're rolling and moving to try to get to the treasure quickly. Now, you can take a longer path, which can keep you safer, or take the shorter path because your opponent's getting too close. But the game is really high pace. I think the only thing it really needs, definitely a silent piece. That was my biggest complaint about it. It's extremely loud and can give you a headache the more you play it. I'll be honest with you. Definitely wasn't my favorite part of it. I'm working on making it silent still. Eventually, I'll be releasing a video of some components I've upgraded and modified and fixed. But this one will eventually be in it too. But yeah, I definitely think it being silent, maybe a little more depth to the strategy. But yeah, I definitely think this is doable, and I think something amazing could come out of it. I'd be excited to see this one for sure.
Jackson agrees with you, man. He is all excited.
I'll tell you, that kid's got more energy than a lightning bolt. I'll tell you, he's a great. If you take him on a walking trail, he's like our coach. He can walk forever. Hopefully, he'll be playing some games.
No, it from the pit is a game that deserves a reprint as well. It's a good one.
It's at the very top of my Hunt's list. It from the pit. I don't have a copy. There was a copy on eBay about maybe 3 weeks ago, and it was pristine. Everything was still on the original splines. It had never been built. And I missed out on it by about a couple of pence. And I was like, oh.
In my eBay video, I think I showed it off too, funny enough, because I clicked on one and I was looking at the pictures like, oh, wow, this one looks almost mint. I wonder if it's the same. It's kind of funny.
But I agree. It looks amazing. I've seen both of your reviews. The only thing that you were saying, like, because the motor's constantly moving with it, isn't it? It's switched on and that's it. It's a threat throughout the whole game. It'd be cool if they could integrate something like, I don't know, like on the actual board, there's like buttons, and when you land on those spaces, that's what wakes up the monster and it starts to grab. That
would be crazy. Wow. Yeah, that'd be insane. I think him motion sensor might be easy.
No.
To do now.
Oh yeah.
Move your hand across him. Ooh,
no, but a button could also reverse his movement.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. He doesn't reverse.
Yeah. That's smart because you're going one way and you're going, oh, good, I'm safe. But then someone stepped on a certain space and now he starts moving around backwards.
That would be neat. Yeah. Restoration Games was excited about something. I wonder if it's that game.
or if they hit it, it's a pause, but only a 5 second or 10 second pause. So you only have a small breath before he wakes up and starts going again. Oh, Luke, that is a great idea. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead with mine real quick, and then I'm gonna have Luke start off the next one because that man is just getting picked apart by everyone else. But my pick is actually one that I talked about yesterday. Pro Action Football. I think they should get away with the soccer theme and do a hockey theme. I'm a bigger hockey fan than a soccer fan. And I mean, sure, the puck would be a ball, so it wouldn't look as thematic. But man, skating around on the ice, hitting it through the net, having a goalie, it's basically the same thing, right? It's basically the same thing. And I would just, except that maybe their hockey stick would be the magnet, right? That would catch it. So you'd have to go to the magnet. I kind of like this idea for hockey, but then of course I don't know how they get rid of it. Maybe they could pinch it. I don't know. But when I saw the game for soccer, I was like, man, this would be great with a hockey re-theme, and I would totally get it for a hockey re-theme. But pro action football is, I've already talked about it yesterday, so I'm not going to glow about it anymore. But I absolutely love it. I think it'd be a great reprint for hockey. Because I can't find a good hockey game. Not that I'm avidly searching for one, but, I have a soccer game. I have a baseball, football, basketball game. I'd kind of like to have a hockey game I could enjoy too. Enjoy all sports.
I could see that working for hockey. Because, the Sabutio's still going around. That's the one where you just flick the figures into the balls. But with a magnetic thing, you've got like the option of dribbling. But yeah, I could see that working for hockey. Parker Brothers, who did Pro Action Football, they made a cricket one called Test Match Cricket. And that's just as good fun. It's hard to get hold of, but yeah, you got like a little bowler that throws the ball, and the guy at the other side is batting. And it works. It actually works. These sports sort of games, there's definitely scope for them, I think. Especially with miniatures.
Oh, no, it looks cool.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested. But what if they did something different? And what if it was you were making food and you're trying to get each item and you're passing each item across the line to race your opponent or something like that? That'd be also kind of cool. Just something way left.
Feeding it into your pantry. I think the mechanism is so unique and so ingenious, and of course it fits for soccer. Obviously it fits for soccer. But it's for me to say, down a few years ago, you said, Matt, you're going to buy a game about soccer. I'd be like, no, I'm not. I hate soccer. But I actually, not only do I have that game, but I absolutely love that game. And that speaks a testament to how good, how fun, how much the fun factor for that game really is. All right. So I'm going to let Luke go first so everyone can copy him this time around, because I think this is our last round here.
Yeah.
So Luke, go ahead. Go for it, brother.
Okay, so I've picked a retro game that's not too old, 15 years or so, maybe like that. I've picked Vampire Hunters, and I've picked this one purely because the mechanic is amazing for it. So you've got a board that's printed blue and red, kind of like those old 3D pictures. And in the middle of the board is a tower, and certain actions on the board will have you switch the tower's light from red to blue, from night to day. And certain things on the board will change, certain figures will change, certain characters. So what might look like a nice friendly villager during the day will turn out to be a werewolf, or like an empty grave, there's a zombie in there. It's a very simple game. There's only one track around the graveyard to defeat the vampire. And again, I think an idea like this, an idea as good as this, it needs to be lent to other games. It really does. Bernardo, yesterday you mentioned about using the 3D glasses to play it during the day. I had a thought about this and that sort of mechanic and printing a game in red and blue. What about a They Live themed board game where you've got certain figures that may look the same as all the other ones, but through a certain lens, they're the monsters?
Yeah,
I
actually have a follow-up to that. I showed Matt a game that I have. I'm still waiting. It's one of the ones that isn't shipping from Germany yet, but it was only produced in Germany. I got confirmation of that, where you have these glasses, and each one of you guys can only see one path for your character. So you're trying to lay out these tiles to create this path for your character, but your opponent can mess up your path. And if they feel like you're going to get to the exit first, they can call you on it and mess you up. It's such a unique idea. Yeah, but no, with the glasses, I definitely got the idea of the red and blue initially from that. it sparked a little bit of an idea, and then everything started spiraling for it. But I do agree, swap out the red and blue 3D glasses. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Who do I want to go? You know what? Go for it, Bernardo.
All right. So nobody should be copying this one. Slime Monster game. Oh, I love this game. All right. So so it was either that or Play-Doh, I guess you guys were gonna expect. But yeah, this is definitely on the newer side of my collection. So you have these characters who started a school and go all the way to the exit. Once you get to it's the armory. Once you get to the armory, you get a landmine where you try to go to fight this monster, who's the slime monster, who's oozing out slime from his mouth. And while he's moving, if it knocks down your an opponent's piece or your piece, you go back to start. So it's such a simplistic game. I definitely think more could be here. I do love the toy aspect of the slime. I think it would be a great selling point at a game. Seeing this at like a Walmart or something like that, like kids would definitely eat this kind of idea up. I know I would. But yeah, I think more strategy. I've actually been working on designing a new board for it to create another gameplay, because I've been working on a new kind of method there to play it. Me and my friends have kind of just been back and forth with it, and it's definitely a lot of fun. There's a whole lot of potential there for sure.
It's funny. You're the only thing that trumps Play-Doh for you is slime on a board game.
You know, there's only 2 of them, so unless y'all can tell me some more, I'm stuck.
Yeah. The slime monster.
Luke's already thinking.
Beware the bog, isn't there?
Yeah.
I could be wrong here. I think there's a Goosebumps themed game with slime.
Oh, we're gonna have to look this up because Goosebumps is one of my favorite shows.
That's funny. Yeah. All right. So, Norm, what is your final pick?
Man, this was a tough one. I mean, I probably had about 10 games that I was trying to bounce around with. I will go ahead and give you guys this one and see what you think. This is a game called Laser Attack. I don't know how well you can see the board. It's a really cool-looking board. In the middle of this board, they have like a little spaceship component, and there's these little holes in here, and then there's these straight lines on the board, and you've got like a spaceship and pods that you're going to be moving around these lines. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to spin the little thing in the middle, and this light is going to peek through one of those holes. Now, whatever line that shows up on, there's a little instruction that you'll be able to follow. You'll be able to move your spaceship, your opponent's pod, your opponent's spaceship. It just depends. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to collect a certain amount of pods to stick in the holes in the middle, spin the thing, and if you're able to block the light, you're going to destroy the spaceship. Now, when I first got this game, it actually surprised me. There's some strategy in this game, and I really like it a lot. It's a very cool-looking game. The only thing is you kind of have to play it in the dark. And one thing, too, is there's 3 different sections of the board, and if you have like a pod, say, close to the spaceship, and you spin the thing, the pod's going to get destroyed. You only have a certain amount of pods, so the more pods you lose, the less chance you're going to have to destroy the spaceship. I'd just be really curious to see what they could do with that spaceship component, if they can make it electronic, give it some noise, give it different colored lasers, add some different elements to the game to make it a little more challenging. This was a game I think that came out in the 70s, but it's a neat little game.
I've seen it. I've never played it.
I remember playing this with my cousin, but you're right. There's like if you could have different lights performing different functions, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Different colors.
Oh, yeah, and the Easter lights could maybe do different things, you know. Like a green light could destroy something, a red light could move it back, something. There's a lot you could do with it. It's a unique game for sure. It's cool. It's a cool-looking game.
All right, that's awesome. All right, so my final pick here is a game that's 21 years old, I think of this month even. Came out 21 years ago. Fantastic game. It's legendary. It's worth it keeps climbing up another $100 every year. It's super expensive. And I'm sad for people who couldn't take advantage of them. I brought the box out here. Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, wow.
This is the episode 1 movie game. You're basically playing out the last 20 minutes of the movie here as Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul, fight it all. Padme is bringing all her people into the temple and trying to take control of the towers again. You have the Battle of Naboo going on. It's 3 different boards. One's a 3D board. It's got this big tower going on. So, I mean, you've got all this action. Plus, you have Anakin, I forgot to mention, battling all the ships, trying to get to the home ship, which is basically the game ending thing. I do think it is a little balanced for the good guys here. That's fine. I get it. But at the same time, I was able to win my very first victory as the no. I've seen one person win as the Imperials, or the bad guys, the Separatists or whatever. It's fantastic though. It's a fantastic game. They made a cheap reprint called Star Wars Risk. It's just a poor man's version of Queen's Gambit. They'll never reprint this, for obvious reasons. It's based off a movie that's over 20 years old. But the thing is, if they ever did, if Hasbro, this is weird because Hasbro was the one that distributed. But as you see here, who they got to do it was Avalon Hill. Avalon Hill's known for their strategic games. They have Hasbro's money. Where's Hasbro? There. They had Hasbro's money to make a very unique game with a lot of great pieces on it. This game even comes with extra pieces just in case your kid loses them. There's pieces you don't need. They just brought you extra pieces. And it's a phenomenal job. I remember I played it when I was visiting a friend of mine in Phoenix, and I was digging through his closet of board games, and I saw it had dust on it. I was like, "Shut up! You have Queen's Gambit." He went, "Oh yeah, me and my dad used to play that when I was a kid." And I was like, "Can we play it now?" I was like, "Sure. I haven't played it in years." I said, "Well, I hear amazing things about this game." I said, "But it cost at the time. It cost about $300." I said, "I'm not paying $300 though for it." And as we're playing it, I'm going, "Oh no, I have to have this game." And I found it for $250. And I asked my wife, I said, "Hey, there's a game I want." She went, "Okay, go for it." I went, "It's a little bit more than usual." I said, "But I really do want." She said, "Okay, go ahead and get it." Because it was a good deal because I think the box was a little beat up, it said, but the boxes looked fine to me. But he was offering $50 less. Well, now the game's, $600 now, up in the upper echelons. It just keeps climbing every year because more and more people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is a really great game." It's so much fun. You're drawing cards, you're playing cards, but you have to play a perfect balance on the 3 or 4 different boards. And so if you play too heavy on this one, the other 3 boards you're gonna get overwhelmed there. So you have to do a good balancing act of playing all 3 levels. Really ingenious. Oh, that's what I won. I won the Battle of Naboo, which I never thought you could win as Gungans. But my Gungans, oh wait, maybe not. I can't remember. I'll have to ask the girl who I played with. I remember I came really close to beating the army, but once they take down the Gungan shield, it's all over, man, for the Gungans. They get slaughtered, just like they do in the game. I mean, it's very thematic. They thought this through. I absolutely love the game. I think it's fantastic. It deserves a reprint. People deserve to play this game. If you can't afford it, get Star Wars Risk. I hear Star Wars Risk is the Return of the Jedi version of this game, but very dumbed down. Still though, oh man, Queen's Gambit, fantastic game.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised at the Star Wars game on your list.
Say what?
So I'm not surprised at the Star Wars game on your list.
Well, you know what? For someone who loves Star Wars so much, I didn't play hardly any video games of it, and I didn't play, of course, any board games of it till later on. And I don't have that many in my. I think I have this one now. Epic Duels, which is another great one, which Restoration Games kind of reprinted without the Star Wars theme. That's what's it called now?
Unmatched.
Is.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of good things for Unmatched.
It's amazing.
And the other one I have is the Ewoks game.
Save the trees.
Yeah, well, not to save the tree. Oh yeah, Ewoks Save the Trees, which is just a pop up and play. My little nephews used to play that with me all the time. My wife actually loves the game, has little Ewoks. I can't wait to play it with my little girls. So, yeah, so those are the 3, I think, Star Wars games that I own now. But anyway, so yeah, it's awesome. So there you have it, folks. There is 5 games from each of us. Some of them were copied from others that we all wanted to. It's funny because we all think alike, though. That's right. We all think alike. Because I'll be honest, I had things like Tornado Rex on mine too, but I thought, someone's going to say that one. I know Norm was going to say McDonald's. I knew that, but I had to say McDonald's because I really wanted McDonald's game reprinted. The one for Wendy's just wasn't that good. Where's the beef? I guess they could update that one, but I can't think of anything that too ingenious on it. But anyway, folks, so let us know in the comments below, what are some old vintage game that you would like to see reprinted and upgraded, and what kind of upgrades would you like to see with them? You can talk about the ones we talked about today and why, or you can talk about ones that we failed to mention. And guys, thanks again for joining me.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Pleasure.
Pleasure, Matt. Thank you, buddy.
All right, folks. Well, we're all going to go get coronavirus, so we'll see you later. Have a good day.